everybody. We're back. It's Carrie and Tiffany back from the holidays.
And welcome to another JoyRide here. Thank you so much for joining us, all our JoyRide tribe out there. We hope you guys are doing great. And we have another amazing show today. This is something that we are just so excited about because it's such truth. It's such exciting information. It's such a powerful force that we've been introduced to. And today we are speaking with, we're going to introduce you here on Skype. Hi, sweetheart. This is Julia Cannon.
Yay!
And how are you?
I'm fantastic. How are you?
I'm
so excited to be here.
Thank you. Well, for anybody who doesn't know, Julia Cannon and her mother, Dolores Cannon, have been working for, 40 plus years, 50 years? Let's see, since the 50s.
Well, my mother
60s.
was working, since the 60s she started, and then really kind of started cranking it up in the 70s.
Yes.
So that would be 40-something years, yes.
In the world of metaphysics and hypnosis, regressions, and really bringing it to a forefront as a healing technique and as a modality to help heal the body, heal the mind, heal the soul, and the information that's coming through about how to really raise our consciousness and how to improve our planet and our vibration all across the board is nothing short of astounding.
Okay, so this is this actually speaks to both of us because I love the new earth and where we're trying to head and all of this, just splitting off and Tiff loves the healing. I mean, I like the healing too, but the healing part of this, and so really there's something for everyone here. So you guys that love to hear about New Earth and Alice and Co. and Ascension, there's something for you. And if you want to know more about
how to heal your body, how to have a great human life while you're here learning your lessons in the vehicle that you're driving around in, Julia is just a wealth of information on how to do that, how to understand what your body's telling you, what your spirit guides are teaching you every day, all day long. And if we will just stop and listen and be able to interpret the messages, we can use all this information to really make a huge difference in our lives, our community, our planet. So, Julia, thank you again. I'm going to do a quick bio on you because you guys have been so busy. But your background is really as a registered nurse, and you worked in intensive care and home health for over 20 years. It was a long career. So, very knowledgeable about all that. But you have then started working with your mother a lot in her QHHT work and teaching and traveling all over doing lectures and classes. You've developed your own energy healing practice. Your abilities have developed. We call it light casting. And you also are a host of your Metaphysical Hour. It's your weekly radio show. And you are the director of the Quantum Healing Hypnosis Academy, which teaches the QHHT, and the CEO of the publishing company, Ozark Mountains, which publishes the plethora of work that your mother put out. I mean, volumes and volumes of books. And you're also your own author of Soul Speak, The Language of Your Body. I have the digital copy, but this is the book. This is
what it looks like.
This is what we wanted to talk about a lot today, too, because you have really been able to interpret how your higher self delivers messages to us through your physical bodies to keep us on our path of development, and how we can interpret and understand all that. So, did I miss anything? I mean, that's like plenty, plus international travel.
She just got back from...
No.
Weren't you just in Taipei and China and Australia? And I can't believe you're even awake. I mean, this is just amazing. How many hours are in your day? Much more than hours.
She's able to bend time. I
think so.
Well, see, that's part of this new energy in the new earth is you learn to manipulate time.
Okay, that's the next book. You need, how to bend time to get all this done. Because you said your guides keep giving you all these assignments, and you say, "How am I supposed to do all of this?" So,
yeah, absolutely. And that's something. So, see, that's part of our journey on Earth. That's what they were always telling Mom in these sessions. Is that's part of what we have to learn is how to manipulate energy. We are here to do that. That we are energetic beings, and that's part of what we are here to learn is how to manipulate energy. Everything is energy, So it's just a matter of learning how to work with that. And so, and time is something that we invented.
Right.
It's a construct that we came up with. So, hello.
We can play with it.
Absolutely. And so all the time, if you're running, if you're saying, oh my gosh, I don't have enough time to do this, well then guess what you just did?
You created that
reality.
reality.
You made yourself with no time to do anything. So you're in that situation, excuse me, they're rushing in. Okay. If you feel like you're doing that, then all of a sudden it's like, no, I have plenty of time to get everything done. And you need to say, I can manipulate time, and I have plenty of time. I can do all of this. And all of a sudden you'll start seeing everything completely shift. In fact, you'll see events start shifting around and everything will move just to work with you. And it's amazing what starts happening when you start doing that. So
I can attest to that. There have been so many times I've been double booked or running late, and I just think, I breathe and just say, guides, please help me bend this time. And somebody will call and cancel or reschedule, or that I just get green lights and I get there early.
Exactly.
And I didn't think it was possible.
Last night we get this call that the studio, that some stuff with
Software
our
was having
software,
trouble, yeah.
and it's like, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. And it was fine. And it really was.
Yeah.
Well, I have to tell you that your book, I read it and I love the audio that went along with it. To hear your voice is wonderful.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I sat down,
I
knocked
love
out.
doing that.
Did you really? Yeah, you could tell. You could tell. But it was such a phenomenal book. I mean, it just made sense. And it actually, and I want to dive right into this, but for me, I was able to stop, and I sort of took stock, and I made a pain actually go away. And I stopped to listen to why I had this, and they really wanted, anyway, and I've been talking to my guides, I've been talking to my higher self, and she has a lot to say. She has a lot to say. And so thank you for that. Thank you for actually doing all of this, because it changes lives. It really does.
Oh, my goodness, what's going on? Oh, thank you.
Oh.
That's
Well, and I understand you were reluctant.
wonderful to know that people are getting, they understand it and they're getting it, and
Well,
thank you.
You're welcome. And it is the way you write this. You can hear your background as a nurse, and then you can, of course, feel and hear everything the way we all speak, and so it just dovetails beautifully. And so it is.
But I was going to say, I hear you were a reluctant writer. You did not really want this project. You didn't want to do this.
Me? Yeah, I like to resist things. Yes.
Yes.
I was a little resistant. And that's kind of what's going on now. Was that a high five?
That is a high five.
Boom.
Sister, we are the same. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The reluctant.
Yeah, and I think, and that's why I put it in there, because I think a lot of people can relate to that. And I'm doing it again. I mean, and even though I promised them I wouldn't do it, that's me. I mean, I resist.
You came in that way. Yeah.
I'm going to find anything in the world to kind of skirt and do it my way and whatever. And that's why I said right before the show, they're hitting me over the head again, and I'm just like, okay, fine. Well, then you figure it out and you tell me how to do it. And they're like, well, you need to stop traveling in order to get these things done. And I'm like, okay, fine. And then
So it's not
Just
like
one
we
more
get this
trip.
enlightenment and it just all becomes easy. It's not like this process where it's just clouds and butterflies.
no, we have to do the work.
We still
have
struggle.
To do the steps. They're not going to just go boom, it's there. We have to do the process. And but the thing is once we do start, because that's the part that we resist, is taking those first steps. But once we start doing those, it just starts working. Because it was real easy once I did start doing it. It was just starting that I was resisting.
So you wrote the book in 2012, and then your mom crossed in 2014, and then you finished writing, I think, 2 of her books, or putting it together. And I mean, that's a lot, and that's a lot to step into. And I kind of look at that, and I thought, if that was me, it's like, how do you make that your own? Like, how do you not feel like you're playing a part, even though you've been a part of this the whole time? I mean, even as a child, that's actually what drew me to you was how was that when your mom would come home and tell you these things? Because we talk to our boys all the time about spirits and about who's here and who's not here, and I told you that it's like, I wonder what they're going to be like when they're 25. Are they how would they balance that? But so are you now feeling like you've sort of moved into your own groove with this and your way with this?
I'm still in the process. I had boy. I'm still working through things that I realized recently. It's time to get honest here, really brutally bare and naked truth here. I went through, when you go through some things in the public, it's like when you're someone that's kind of out there. I didn't feel like those were, mom's big shoes.
Yeah.
Okay, and it was like, and she was a big person that I had to kind of try to work in. Yeah. And I've gone through what you could consider a major identity crisis.
Yeah. Understandably.
And that's pretty much what you're saying here. And I had to try and figure out who I was within all this, and that's what you're kind of saying. And yeah, what I did was, all I did after her, those two books were pretty much finished, so I just kind of wrapped them up and finished. There wasn't a lot of me going into them. Now, the book that I'm working on now was the third one that she's had. Now, it was in a very raw state. That's the one I'm having difficulty with, because I'm trying to do it the way she would have done it. Mm-hmm. But I'm having a really hard. It's like, it's really raw. It's really in a very rough state. And it's like, I have to get it to where she would have had it. And I'm like, I've got to go through this process. And
well, that is a
I'm
huge
like, okay,
undertaking.
How do I get it from here to here, and I keep wanting to do what I would do with it.
Right. Yeah.
And I've got to do what she would do with it. And it's like, how do I do this? If I do what I would do with it, it would go a different direction.
Yeah.
And so I'm struggling. And the same with the classes and everything. See, I've done some things with them that, it's like I want to go a different direction. And but I want to still honor her, which I do. I still honor her and I keep her in them. But it's like I'm being told to take them in some. It's like I do my thing with them, but it's like it's a struggle. Mm-hmm. But that's my direction, is to put my part in there. And otherwise, I'm losing myself.
Right.
And that's what the guidance is. It's like, hey, you're here for a reason. It's not just to mimic and duplicate her.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
well, and your mom is doing the work from that side, and so it is. Mm-hmm. She left you, not left you here. Your soul chose to stay here, and she chose to go to that side. So it seems like there's a halfway point, I would think.
Right.
And because you write beautifully, and it's so accessible. I mean, she does too, clearly, but it is, yeah. So is that coming from you, or is that coming from the guides? And when I ask the question, is it you staying in her voice? Is that from you, or is that from the guides? Do they want you to stay in her voice, or is it you trying to stay in her voice? I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah.
You mean on her book?
Yeah, on the last.
Oh, this is her book. Okay, this is the third book from her series.
Your question just now. What do you mean?
Well, it is like, you said that you wanted to kind of keep it in her voice, I guess is the best way for me to put that. Is that coming from you, or is that coming from her? It's like, let's just keep this one me.
That's coming from me. That's coming from me wanting to honor her and keep it, because it's her book. So I'm wanting to keep it the way all of her books were. But it's like, I'm struggling with that because I never saw this part of her process. She always, whenever she came to me and I worked with her, she was much further down the road in her books, and I never saw this part. In order for me to do this part, I need to get inside of her brain, or she's got to channel through me and make this happen.
Could she come through?
Okay, you're going to have to come in and do this, which she might very well do if I would just sit down and start typing. She might do it, and I just haven't sat down and let her do it.
Right.
But what a beautiful... And that could be very well what happens, but it's like I'm just sitting going, okay, how are we going to do this? And I just haven't allowed it.
And that's your block.
Here we go. Here's the truth,
No, but that's the block. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I do that. It's like, okay, I know I'll do that, and I know how it will be, but I have to actually sit down and do it. It's almost a fear of sitting down because it'll either be better than I thought or not what I thought. And so I'll deal with that tomorrow.
And I was going to say, what a beautiful relationship you guys have where you both want to honor each other. You both want each other to be validated and have your voice heard and follow your path. So, I mean, it's a beautiful problem to have that you're continuing to create with your mom.
Okay.
And she's on that side now who can bring forth this information, and you're going to put your stamp on it. And it's gorgeous. What y'all are on the cutting edge. You're on the leading edge of this new information. Delivering it in this way. So however it comes out, it's perfect.
Thank you for that. Thank you.
But these must be big soul lessons that you guys came here to learn, to do this together.
Right.
And part of your soul lesson to figure out how you want to incorporate yourself, because you're running her companies and kind of managing her legacy, but also creating your own content.
And growing.
So I really want to get into your book because I think it's so important, the information that comes through for each human being that is here, because what a common experience that we all have some kind of pain, physical, emotional pain, or suffering of some kind. And if we could understand that it's a message for us, it's not happening to us. Even accidents, injuries are not they're not accidents. They're a way of communicating to us. And if we can learn that, we can see things very differently and use that information to help us, right? So I want to ask, what would you have thought about this information when you were a nurse? Did you have this information when you were a nurse in intensive care? Was this part of your thinking, or were you just working with the body?
I was just working. That wasn't, no, I was into the mechanics of it. I think that was part of the training to get to this part. And that's what people need to understand that that's part, all their background is what brings you to where you are.
Sure.
And so nothing is ever lost, because I have a lot of people that come to the classes and they have all this professional background and all these major, like degrees and all these things, and then all of a sudden the universe puts them over here and they're like, they're freaking out because, I have all this stuff back here and now I'm over here and I don't, and they're
and does this invalidate this? Yeah. It doesn't invalidate it, though.
And I have the same thing, as you read in the book. That was part of my kicking and screaming, and I kept trying to go back to be a nurse, and they're like, no, you're not going to do this. And I'm like, and that was my identity, And but then I finally realized that, everything I did back there, all those skills I'm using now, all of that brought me to where I am now. That was my training to get here. So all of that was just teaching me. It was my training ground.
The soup that is
I was just going through them. I was learning and understanding. I was just learning. That was my teaching.
Beautiful. So getting into the mechanics of the book, you actually go through each body system, the physical attributes of us, but also the chakras and the energy of us, and you teach us how the emotions, the traumas, the issues that we have are stored in the body, and how it's always talking to you. And something as little as an ache or an injury all the way to cancer, you go the full spectrum. And it's a way to start identifying what it's there to teach you. So you're not saying this is the end all be all, but this is a way to start asking questions. And then you give us a process. Can you walk us through that real simple process that you have about how we understand what our body is trying to say? Because you say it's simple. It may not be easy, but it is simple.
It is simple, and that's, the universe is always simple. And that's the thing to understand. And, like it's not easy, not always easy. It can be easy. We can complicate it.
Right, sure. Don't we always? Yeah. Often.
Right, it's a simple process. It's just a matter of how complicated you want to make it. So, it's just like this whole other thing. you know, it's a matter of sitting down and doing it. You know, it's simple. It's just I'm making it complicated and hard because I just won't sit down and do it. So it's just like this. It's a matter of sitting and, like you were saying, you read it, you know, you sat down and you just started the process and immediately went away. See, you made it very easy. It is. It's a very simple and easy process if you will make it that way.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and if you will just go through the steps and do it. Or you can make it complicated, or you can make it one that never happens because you block it.
Right.
So, you know, it's all a matter of allowing and receiving, things like that. You know, it's just a matter of talking to the body part or to your higher self and just listening and allowing and be willing to receive, because the answer will come.
Because it does take a lot of honesty and bravery to ask the question sometimes. Do you really want to know? And will you really do something about
Absolutely.
it?
Absolutely.
So let's say, and I'm just going to make this up to show people how this works, and you really do just have to check the book out. You have to buy the book because it's just full of such great information. But let's say my wrist. Let's say I have a, what are they called? Like the ganglion cyst. How would I go about trying to identify the wheres and whys of that?
Okay. Well, first of all, and what I love to do is, you know, it's like, what does the wrist represent to you?
Mm-hmm.
What does it do? Okay.
Everything.
And then I've had you describe it, and in the description, a lot of times the message is there. Like, what does the wrist do?
Okay.
You tell me.
It writes. It works. It fulfills everything
What
that
does it do?
It holds,
It
What does the
grasps,
wrist do?
it bends.
rotates your hand, rotates your giving and receiving. Depends on what side of your body also is very
Oh,
important.
I love that. Right is
Right.
now. Left is the past.
Left is the past. It's maybe an issue in the past or a past life, and the right side of your body usually represents what's happening now, is a current situation.
Yeah, exactly. Right now. Yeah. Okay, so the wrist, yeah, it's a flexible. It has to do with, you know, it's a joint. Okay, and your joints have to do with flexibility.
Ah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Aha. Yeah. You know, are you bending? Are you able to be flexible? Okay, and then that's a joint having to do with, is that right at the point of the hand? Okay, so it's something to do with maybe the hand.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, what does the, like you're saying, what does the wrist have to do with? So that's where you look at that. So it's like, but usually, if the person is having trouble with that, then you'd ask them, okay, what, you know, then what is the aching? What does that pain feel like? What is it, you know? And in that description, they will, usually the message is there. You know, it's like, what is it preventing you from doing? What is it, you know, so you just get all that description, and there will be that message somewhere in there. So,
In the process,
and
you have
they'll
to
tell
go,
you that just without even realizing it.
and we've said you can't just go in and say, "Oh, it's all good," and you have to go in and feel the emotion that's in there, or the resistance to the writing, or the whatever you're trying to step. You really have to get in there into the meat of the work, of the emotions,
Right.
of the situation, and love, forgive it, whatever. But really do it. You can't gloss over it because it's trying to deliver a message to you that your energy is somehow
Exactly.
stuck or you're off course somehow.
Exactly, and if you can't, you know, like I said, you know, like for me on the outside, it's like I would just keep talking to the person. It's like, well, what does it feel like? What is it, you know? It's like, and that could give me some indication. But or you can do it yourself and just keep asking it. You can actually talk to the body part and say, what are you trying to tell me? What do you want me to know?
Mm-hmm.
And then you just listen. It'll talk to you.
It'll tell you.
tell you. Or you can ask your higher ups, your higher self, you know, the same questions. It's either way. I mean, that's what you're talking to when you talk
Yeah.
to your body. It's the same thing. And it's, just listen. They'll tell you. And then from that, then you'll start the process. Okay, when they tell you what the message, you know, it's like, this is what we're trying to tell you. Then you start working through it. It's like, oh, okay. Well, then what can I do? What do we need to do here? You know, because then there's a process after that.
And
You
it'll-
have a plan of action. It's like, okay, okay.
Here's the
I
remedy.
can do this.
Yeah, and it may not be a surgery or a prescription. There may be an emotion to move through, a relationship to heal, or something that your soul is wanting you to move into action on. It has nothing to do with the
Exactly.
physical mechanics of it.
Right, yeah, because you've got to do something. It's not just, like you said, you can't just gloss it over, okay, that's fine. I mean, it's a matter of delivering a message and you taking action. Once you take action, it will be gone, because that was its purpose, was to deliver the message so that you would take action.
Yeah.
And that's it.
And in your
Once
book,
the message is delivered and you've done your job, then it will disappear because it's no longer needed.
Well, that's what I love about your book, is that you don't say, okay, go to page 52. If you have skin cancer on the right side, this is what it is. You say, okay, you know what? You can do this. You know, it's inside of you. I mean, you can call me, you can have me, pay me to come and take care of it with you, walk you through it, but you have this. And that's what I love, that empowerment.
And so you with
Oh yeah, I want people to know this. You've got the power. It's not me. Don't come to me to do it. You've got it. Each one of us has it. Stop going to someone else to fix your problems. You have the power. You can do it yourself.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mic drop.
Drop the mic.
That's it.
We all have the answers within us to do our own work, fix ourselves. That's a major message right now. They have said it. Stop going to the outside to fix ourselves. We can do it ourselves. Fix ourselves. Be our own channel.
Yeah, and so and through thousands of QHHT sessions and regressions, you have witnessed repeated patterns of people having similar traumas or experiences or emotions in different parts of the body. So that's how your book has kind of come forward, is to say these are, over the thousands of regressions, these are what we've seen. This is where people started. And so these are places for you to start asking these questions of these organs or body structures. And you tell us what your specific thing is. You know, you'll have your own specific story or situation in it, but you just walk us through the very basic outline, and it's so simple. Like somebody stabbed me in the back, or, you know, very literally the nose. It's like it's right there for you. You know, if you have a problem with your nose or your pressure, sinus pressure, I'm under too much pressure. It's very literal of what your body is saying. All these little euphemisms that we say are pretty accurate, like the weight of the world on my shoulders, or
not being
I can't
supported.
stomach something. I can't digest that situation.
Well,
I love how it's so literal. I mean, when you look at it that way, that's one of the things I loved about it, because that's what got me, was how literal it was, and that's why I said it made sense in a very illogical way. I mean, it just made so much sense, and I love the body, and it's so great, and that, I guess because of my knowledge of the body, it just made so much sense. You know, it was just beautiful how it made sense in that logical, illogical way.
see, and I think that, I mean, even, this is just like a little side note, but even with, I used to always get sick. If a kid, I have 3 kids, and if a kid around us threw up, or if a kid in the class, oh, Mom, this kid threw up, I would say, oh, God, here it comes. Sure enough, rip through my house every single time. And now I said, okay, guys, we're not doing this anymore. So you guys need to bone up, because we are not puking. I have not gotten it since, and it's been years now. They just ripped through my house again.
But it's not your belief anymore.
Right.
Back then, we heard of somebody across town getting it. We all had the belief, oh, we're all going to get it, and sure enough, we all
got
did.
it. Yeah, I love that.
That was the way it was. But now, somebody within the same building or the same house gets it, and it's like, well, I don't want to get too close to you because I've got this. I'm like, that's fine. I don't get those things. I don't catch anything. I don't go around catching things. Are you kidding me?
Right.
No, I don't do that. I don't have that belief in me anymore. No. And I don't.
Isn't that cool?
Okay, but still as a mom, I'm like, wash your hands, wash your hands. I have this belief you need, wash your hands. So do you just not wash your hands? You just not worry about it? I
wash my hands with water. I don't wash my hands with all that antibacterial soap and all.
Just soap and water.
Yeah. And if you get it, there's a reason you're getting it, and you need to look at it. Well, okay, so the downside of your book, however, there is a downside. Mom, okay, you had breast cancer. Where did it show up first? Your left side or your right side? Oh, guess what? That's because you're married to Dad. They're divorced. Oh, okay, so you had basal cell. What side? Where did you have, and I really do now want to diagnose and tell everybody. Not everybody's open to my interpretations, I must say.
Okay, I do have one more question, though, too.
I'm sorry.
some things in the book, you mentioned some things come in and there's something for you to experience karmically. So there's maybe a limited amount of healing that can occur because it's just something you're meant to go through and experience. Mm-hmm. How much, and I want to say percentage wise, but how much do you feel is this something you came in to experience, to have somebody nurture you and you're not as independent as you once were? How much of it is that, and then how much of it is we're just believing old beliefs that are creating this imbalance in our body?
Even like from another life?
Yeah.
Or a soul contract.
Well, okay, so for instance, my son has a really rare genetic condition that he was born with. And I think this is just his soul wanting to experience a life in this kind of physical body. So I don't know if there's a limit to how much healing he can have in this life, or if this is just what his soul came here to do. So in the healing work that you do, how much do you encounter this is just part of your plan to go through this? Does that make sense?
Probably, yes, it makes sense. Probably, it's a very small percent. Very small percent. The largest percent is what we do to ourselves.
Right.
As men, and these messages that we're just trying to deliver. So it's a very small percent that we come in with something that, and I wouldn't even say that has he had a session, or how old is he?
He's 11, and he did do a regression
recently. Okay, so he's too young to have a session, but through you can find out if that can be taken care of. So with that THHD session, you would get the answers anyway.
Yeah.
As to what that is.
Isn't that so interesting? So I tell you what, we are going to take a short break here on JoyRide, and we're going to be right back with more Julia Cannon talking all about healing, her book Soul Speak, and QHHT, and life being the daughter of Dolores Cannon. So thank you for tuning in, and we'll be right back.